Imagine this: a convicted music mogul, a sitting U.S. president, and one phone call capable of altering both their legacies. Standing before reporters at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump turned a routine appearance into a media storm with his claim that Sean Diddy Combs had asked him for a presidential pardon. It was a political bombshell, one that fused celebrity scandal, power, and justice into one of the most unexpected twists of the year. It's a headline no one expected. President Donald Trump has revealed that hip-hop and business mogul Sean Diddy Combs reached out seeking a presidential pardon after his conviction on prostitution-related charges. Standing before reporters at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump turned a routine appearance into a media storm with his claim that Sean Diddy Combs had asked him for a presidential pardon. That single sentence has set off a political and legal firestorm. Not only does it add another twist to Diddy's already high-profile criminal case, but it also revives one of the most controversial powers in American politics, the presidential pardon. Sean Combs, now 55, was sentenced on Friday, October 3, 2025, to more than 4 years in federal prison after being found guilty on 2 counts of promoting prostitution. He was acquitted of the far more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, which had once threatened to put him behind bars for decades. Still, even the lesser convictions carry significant weight. Prosecutors argued that the music mogul engaged in what they called a pattern of coercive and exploitative conduct, spanning several years' claims that drew on testimony from former employees and associates. The court imposed a $500,000 fine and confirmed that Combs would receive credit for the year he had already spent at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn since his arrest in September 2024. His legal team, led by attorney Tenny Geragos, has fiercely rejected the verdict and sentencing, calling it excessive and inconsistent with the jury's decision to acquit him of the major charges. The jury made it very clear, Geragos said after the verdict, not guilty means not guilty. She confirmed that the defense plans to appeal, accusing the judge of allowing unproven allegations to influence the sentence. In a separate filing, the defense requested that Combs serve his time at FCI Fort Dix in New Jersey, a low-security prison known for its rehabilitation and educational programs. His lawyers argued that the placement would allow Combs to address personal issues, participate in drug treatment programs, and remain close to family, a move that could also support any potential clemency plea in the future. With Trump's latest revelation, the case has veered into a whole new and unexpected dimension. The presidential pardon power, rooted in Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution, allows the nation's leader to absolve federal offenders. Throughout history, this authority has served both as a gesture of compassion and a spark for heated debate. If Combs truly reached out for a pardon, it would be an unusually early move, coming just days after his sentencing and before his appeal process even begins. Traditionally, formal pardon requests are filed through the Department of Justice's Office of the Pardon Attorney, often years after conviction and usually following demonstrated rehabilitation or remorse. Neither Combs' representatives nor the Trump administration has confirmed whether a formal pardon request has been submitted. Still, Trump's comment instantly reignited discussion about how he's used and at times politicized the pardon power in the past. During his first presidency, Trump issued a number of controversial pardons to high-profile allies and figures connected to his administration. Roger Stone, Paul Manafort, Michael Flynn, and even former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich all benefited from his clemency decisions. Critics accused Trump of using pardons to reward loyalty rather than uphold justice, something his supporters dismissed as political spin. Now, the prospect of a pardon for Diddy, a figure with no political ties but immense cultural influence, could reshape that conversation entirely. Legal analysts say it would be one of the most unusual and politically risky pardons in modern U.S. history, especially if granted during an election cycle. For Trump, though, controversy has never been a deterrent. His comment came on the same day the Supreme Court refused to hear an appeal from Ghislaine Maxwell, the convicted associate of Jeffrey Epstein, whose name has often been linked to other high-profile figures. When asked if he would consider pardoning Maxwell, Trump simply said, "I'll take a look at it. I will speak to the Justice Department." That remark, followed by his mention of Diddy, seemed to suggest that Trump is once again signaling his willingness to exercise presidential mercy on his own terms, regardless of political convention. Meanwhile, Diddy's case remains a focal point of public attention. Once one of the most powerful figures in entertainment, his empire has faced immense fallout since his arrest. Multiple civil lawsuits are still pending against him, and his businesses have suffered reputational damage amid the wave of allegations. If granted, a presidential pardon would effectively wipe his federal conviction from the record, though it wouldn't impact ongoing civil cases. It would also allow him to rebuild some measure of credibility, but at a tremendous political cost for Trump, who's already navigating legal battles and administrative controversies of his own. The broader debate now centers on whether the pardon process itself needs reform. Critics argue that the system, largely unchecked, allows presidents to extend clemency without accountability or transparency. Supporters counter that it remains a vital constitutional safeguard, a way to correct injustice and offer second chances in a system often criticized for inequity. For Diddy, the next steps are clear but uncertain. His team is preparing an appeal to challenge both the verdict and the sentencing. At the same time, speculation continues to swirl about whether Trump's remarks were offhand or an intentional public test balloon to gauge reaction. One thing is certain, this story is far from over. The intersection of fame, justice, and presidential power is once again at the heart of American debate. And with Trump back in the political spotlight, every word, every decision, and every pardon carries consequences beyond the courtroom. Share your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you about what you think about this. If you found this story insightful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more detailed breakdowns of stories shaping America's political and legal landscape. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for what comes next.